forces. Our aircraft carrier HMS Prince of Wales has come back into port.
Managed to get it. Only took him, what, 4 or 5 days to get it from the Isle of Wight into Portsmouth. That's excellent.
Yeah, so here was the headline. Well, that didn't go to plan, did it? Humiliation as British 3 billion aircraft carrier comes back to port days after breaking down off the Isle of Wight. Now, you've had Admiral Moorhouse on the screen before, Mike. Let's just have a look at this clip and hear what he has to say.
I spoke to you earlier in the week regarding the emerging issue with HMS Prince of Wales, and following an internal Royal Navy update earlier today, I wanted to provide further details on the situation. Our priority this week has been to ensure the ship and her people are safe, whilst working hard to understand the nature and extent of the damage. While we do not routinely comment on the material state of our warships, there has been some speculation, and it is important for me to clear that up. Royal Navy divers have inspected the starboard shaft of the ship and the adjacent areas, and they have confirmed that there is significant damage to the shaft and the propeller, and some superficial damage to the rudder, but no damage to the rest of the ship. Our initial assessment has shown that a coupling which joins the final 2 sections of the shaft has failed. Now, this is an extremely unusual fault, and we continue to pursue all repair options. We're working to stabilise the shaft section and the propeller, after which the ship will return to Portsmouth. The ship will then probably need to enter a dry dock, as this will be the safest and quickest way to effect the repairs. The good news is that our other aircraft carrier, HMS Queen Elizabeth, will depart Portsmouth next week to undertake elements of Prince of Wales' programme in the United States. She'll then return to Europe to continue our autumn programme of exercises and operations. As for Prince of Wales, we will repair her, get her back on operations, protecting the nation and our allies as soon as possible.
So, David, I was watching your face during that report. What he actually appears to be saying is that a propeller shaft coupling broke, and for the propeller to contact the rudder, the whole unit must have moved aft, that is backwards, to be in contact with the rudder. This is an incredible situation. He appears a little bit puzzled as to how this has happened, but I note that he says, well, we looked after the safety of our people. So we've forgotten ship's companies, because that's the correct term he should have used. We're into our people, but they're all safe. Don't worry. We're going to put our ship in a dry dock because we think that's the safest place in order to, in effect, a repair. David, I'm going to say that this is symptomatic of breakdown inside the Royal Navy, because we're now demonstrating we're not capable of building and operating a major ship. I have other comments, but over to you.
It's also incredibly coincidental, given what happened to the ship's namesake. HMS Prince of Wales was lost off Malaya, having been torpedoed by Japanese aircraft. The torpedo hit the propeller shaft. It was stopped and then restarted, but the stays that held it in line had been damaged, and it rotated eccentrically and caused a lot of damage to the ship, and there was uncontrollable flooding alongside the shaft up into the heart of the ship, which ultimately doomed it to sinking. So maybe his comments about, well, it's safe, were not entirely overstated. I don't know if there was any threat to the ship at any point, but these things can be extremely serious. It seems incredible that such a fundamental failure should occur in such a ship. Now, these are big and highly complex pieces of equipment. They are somewhat groundbreaking, the biggest ships the Royal Navy's ever had, and some degree of problems and teething problems are to be anticipated. I think, to be fair, we should point that out. But this just seems incredible, and it would suggest that there are potential problems in the other shafts and in the other ship. If one has failed in this manner, what is there to prevent other similar failures happening as well?
Really, really good points, David. I'm going to say once again that many years ago we were approached by several people who told us of huge problems within the Royal Navy because they no longer had the technical capability and expertise amongst the officers in order to carry out basic refits, never mind cope with the needs of a new ship. So this is one of the reasons why UK column at least has seen something like this coming, because the Navy has been hollowed out. I'm watching the clock because we've got a little bit more to do on the RAF, but I know you want to come back on something.
Just one question, Brian. Do you think this could be a maintenance failure?
I honestly don't know at the moment. I am wondering whether actually you've got some form of fatigue failure, in that there was a design problem with the shaft, and what we're actually seeing is a result of an actual failure of the shaft prop itself. But possibly the routine maintenance wasn't carried out, or the routine checks weren't carried out.
But it's a brand new ship.
I know, Mike, but what we are seeing inside of the military, and we know this is happening because of people talking to us, is that there is a breakdown in professional capability inside the services, because they're more concerned, as we shall see, about crashes and the LGBT